So you have chocolate in hand?
I received it on Saturday. I had a chance to enjoy them. Yes, definitely. I'm very excited to talk about this. Sorry, those are my dogs. So here I'm talking with Aaron Keller. He is CEO and founder of Verse Chocolates, but also founder of Capsule. I would love to hear a little more about your background if you want to share that with the audience.
Certainly. One correction, I am not the CEO and founder of Verse Chocolate. I'm considered the chief marketing officer of Verse Chocolate. Scott Walker is the CEO and founder. Yes, and it is a venture we are invested in to bring to the marketplace. My background is research and design, and helping people bring products to market like this.
Amazing, yes, so, and it's actually.
You've actually tried it and enjoyed it. Yes, yes. And of course, and the firm, we have the one you mentioned, I should probably mention as well, Capsule, which brings brands to the market. And you've seen that through the work we've done with Patagonia, Arc'teryx, Hydro Flask, brands like that. So.
Yes, incredible work. I love the work that you guys are doing. It's very inspiring. And the way that you tell stories is really, really great. So let's talk more about Verse. I had a chance to try them, and I will say it was a very unique experience. I am a fan of dark chocolate, but I do prefer something that doesn't have that like sharp tang to it. And this was a very different experience. So can we talk about how you came into this space, like how you decided to enter such a crowded market like chocolate? You know, like the competition is just so fierce.
Yes, yes. So Scott approached us 18 months ago with the idea of bringing a chocolate to market. And we agree with you. In the beginning, we certainly agreed with you in the fact that it's a very crowded market. But in some research we did early on, we found white space in dark chocolate, and it's essentially in the space where if it tastes like it's in the range of 70 to 75% cacao, which is where people's palate is typically at if they're into dark chocolate. But it's actually 90%. There's a huge benefit boost to go to that 90% level, less sugar, therefore healthy for you as a daily habit, as a healthy daily habit. And so that was the space that we discovered. Now, actually achieving that was the great work of the team and what Scott was able to accomplish to get to that flavor profile. So it could be something that you could enjoy every day. And then the form factor, getting to a medallion. So you're not trying to break off a piece off a bar or trying to determine how much of a bar you consume every day, right? A single serving a day is one medallion. I recommend 3 a day because it's a good, healthy habit. And it's a good way to.
For sure.
Yes, yes. So yeah, so it's go ahead.
No, your process of getting like the creation of the chocolate, that's really fascinating. I don't think people understand, you know, the challenges in the industry and the actual process that you do with the cacao. So like I would love to like talk a little bit about that.
Yes. Yes. The process of getting to this level, so that the thing that Scott he's immersed in chocolate. He spent a lot of time in chocolate, at Big Chocolate, and the process is a controlled fermentation process that essentially is a more precise fermentation of the cacao beans, therefore getting more flavor and more benefits into the bean itself. And then, which I can't get into, is the roasting and the production process after that, which is where we get to that flavor profile as well as that feel in your mouth, that level of how it breaks really nicely, right? How it feels smooth at first, those type of things. Mm-hmm. But the other pieces of it are really the nutritional benefits are about the cacao bean, the source where it comes from in the world, and then the controlled fermentation process, which is what Scott is very familiar with. So
Right.
it is an absolutely amazing thing to see when you the process to go from a bean to chocolate, right? Because most people don't think of chocolate as a fruit, right? As a
No.
fruit you might have on your countertop. It's just not seen as that. It's seen as a dessert, which it can
Yeah.
be still seen as a dessert. But I'd like to change that. I'd like to change that in the form of no, it's a healthy daily habit, right? Just like an
Yeah.
apple, just like anything else in the fruit category.
Yeah. Let's talk about that because the way people consume chocolate, I know from my experience, it was just like stuffing a Snickers bar or Kit Kat bar down my mouth, like just, mindlessly. Um, this experience definitely forced you to be a little more thoughtful and mindful about what you were consuming. And I think that the actual experience is really different. It is like you're enjoying something that not only tastes like, I don't know, like a lower percentage chocolate and melts like a lower percentage chocolate. That was a really interesting find for me, because I expected it to be a hard, like, because it's a darker chocolate, because they tend to be harder and don't melt as easily.
Mhm.
That experience was so different. Um, but like, let's talk about how that fermentation process actually brings out the benefits in the cacao beans.
Mhm. Yeah, bringing forward the antioxidants and the flavonols specifically as something that helps at the cellular level. It's not my area of expertise as to the biological impact on us, and I know the things that I talk about a lot, which is related to happiness and creativity. Um, and what it does for flexibility of small blood vessels, and things like that. A lot of people know what antioxidants are and what they do, and what kind of positive impact they can have on our bodies. But also just the fact that starting a day off, starting a meeting off with a bit of chocolate makes that meeting better. So there's so many things in life that are not pleasant moments that you can start with chocolate instead, or replace a bad habit in some form, and you've got a nice healthy benefit right before something, right? And it's very a shareable item as well, right? You can
Totally.
have somebody else enjoy it at the same time, especially if they're into dark chocolate.
Or even if they don't know that they're into dark chocolate, like this is something for the people who haven't really experienced dark chocolate because they're afraid it's going to have that like sharp bitter taste. That's not the experience at all. And like, actually what really made me happy is that the sugar content was so much lower. And I've really been mindful about the sugar content, the amount of sugar that I'm ingesting myself. So like, being able to not feel so guilty enjoying these, that was really important for me too.
Yes, I agree. It's there's a lot of things that are bad about sugar and how much sugar we consume in every other thing in our lives, and this is a wonderful replacement for that, where you can get that bit of what feels like a treat. So we're still benefiting from the perception of chocolate, but
Mhm.
you're not getting anywhere near the level of sugar you would get if you shovel down a Kit Kat or whatever else bit of chocolate that you might be,
Right.
because it's a natural, we have those natural cravings at certain moments, and we can acknowledge that, but then replace it with something better, something healthier, and something with less
Exactly.
sugar.
Yeah. And I know that I, along with probably the majority of women, reach for chocolate in times of stress. And chocolate does have that kind of soothing effect when you have those moments of like anxiety or stress. Like it does help like take that like edge off a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah, and I don't, is that biological? Is that chemicals and other things happening in your body at the same time, or is it just the experience of chocolate? Right, that you know this, you've got a history with it of experiencing chocolate. Yeah, I think it's both. Both of those things are happening, but to be able to have something like this to to take that edge off, because it's a calming thing. It's helps, I think, with the brain. It helps
Mhm.
you be more calm, but yet more perhaps centered, and therefore a little bit better on your creative side of your brain,
Mhm.
essentially.
Right. And something that I found that really spoke to me in your brand was your connection to the uncommon cacao. Can we talk a little bit about that?
Mhm. Yes, yes. They are the source of the beans, and they are and Scott is on the board of that organization and is very familiar. Actually, two of the team members, Kate, is also on the board of Uncommon Cacao, so we have a very strong relationship with them. As what we talk about is transparent trade. So knowing where the beans come from, because one of Scott's original goals for this was essentially to benefit the farmers and benefit the consumer. So if we can design a chocolate that is beneficial to us as human beings consuming chocolate, consuming it in a healthy habit kind of way, at the same time, because we're pushing the controlled fermentation process down the supply chain, putting value more early in that supply chain, the farmers benefit and the consumers benefit by producing a better quality product, essentially. Um, so yeah, that's been a very important part of the partnership and of the relationship. They go beyond what we know as fair trade, to the point of transparent trade,
Yeah,
making sure we know where our food originates, right?
right. And I mean, I don't know if our audience is really aware of like how um, like not transparent the industry can be, and how devastating it can be to some communities in where they're sourced from. The fact that you guys made that a point to call out in your work is really inspiring to me. So I think, if a lot of brands can like start taking that lead, it would be great.
Mhm.
Um,
Yeah,
I
I very much agree.
so I wanted to know chocolate pairings because, like we're looking at this from a different angle, and I think, in order to, I just enjoying it as something that's not to be like binged or, just like mindlessly tasted. Like chocolate pairings probably have like a really special niche right now with your chocolate.
Yeah, it is a as you see from the form factor, there's a lot of things that are happening, just in our early development of this, about where it can be paired with, or what things, what foods it can be paired with, but also how it can be paired, in the fact that it works almost like a cracker in a way. So it's
Mm,
a chocolate cracker, which is an interesting perspective on it that others have pointed out to us. I can't say that it was part of the original design thought process that it would be that, but we love that it's come out as a conversation piece. But the
yeah.
things that you compare it with, people typically go to red wine with dark chocolate, which is a common
Mhm.
thing. But there's a lot of people that are pairing with spirits, specifically, in the area of perhaps ports, which is, I guess, it's still in the wine category, but all kinds of other spirits are being paired with things that would be unusual, be like olives, right? Not expected. Salmon is a really interesting pairing. Gouda and the cheese, right? Figs are one that I really enjoy. So there's all
Mhm.
kinds of unusual things you can pair with, and because it works kind of like a cracker, you can pair it with something else that also fits into your healthy habit diet, and and it is amazing because it works like that cracker or a dipping device in things. And we're still exploring all kinds of other, because there's so many. There's the base foods, but then there's all kinds of other mixes and things that have come out that go far beyond that. Of course, the standard, a good natural peanut butter is not a bad
Gonna
thing at all to
say,
pair this with
I
either.
was just
So
gonna say,
there's something about that always that's good.
yep, I totally agree. Even
Right, right.
maybe some jelly on that too.
So
Um,
right, right, perhaps.
yeah. I'm also very curious about what you see in the future for like the chocolate space. Like what does that look like for you?
So yes, there's the team is working on a number of other products, complementary products. We are exploring some interesting things that keep us still in that category of a 90 that tastes like a 70 in the cacao category, because we feel like that if we get that right, to get that base right, that everything added on to that is a bonus and can involve more people in this chocolate. And as those come out, we'll be seeking out taste testers, people that want to participate and get to know the chocolate and taste early versions of it for sure. There's amazing opportunities if people do adopt this wonderful daily habit, because it's a good habit to have in your life.
We have a few questions. So Irina was curious, is this how you, do you recommend enjoying it like a daily vitamin?
I often refer to it as a dose, that it does come across that way. I've used it right before meetings. I've used it to replace elements of my breakfast. I'm thinking about it more in that way now, where I'm looking at little bad habits that I know are bad habits, but I choose to ignore them. Here's something I can replace that bad habit with, something healthier, something better for me, and a better habit for that matter. So yeah, we have been talking about it as dose, almost like a daily vitamin, but not as not as challenging as a daily vitamin, I guess. More joyful.
I haven't tried to melt it yet, but does it melt similar to milk chocolate?
Yeah. It melts very nicely.
Okay.
I don't know that I could say it melts it melts very nicely. Yeah, it does. It is. We're exploring some chef conversations that could be interesting, and also possibilities of being an ingredient in other things at some point in time as well, which would get more into the importance of the melting piece of it down the road.
Yeah, just because I make chocolate covered strawberries as like a guilty pleasure, just like to enjoy. But I also love to like use these in baking or like chip form. And I feel like it has like a very unique texture, just maybe to have like an ice cream.
Yeah, we've I've used it as dipping in yogurt in the morning. I am a big fan of Noosa as a yogurt, and the key lime pie version of Noosa. Yes, very good, but not all the extra sugar that's at the bottom. Just take the top off with the chocolate as a scooper. It's really good. Yeah, it is amazing the types of things you can do. Honestly, when you're writing about chocolate, if you think about the word chocolate, it pairs with anything. It makes everything better. You just put chocolate in front of it, and people go, "Oh, that must be good." Whatever that is, it's got to be good. It's just it's a joyful thing.
I've seen those combinations of like chocolate and bacon, chocolate and like just like potato chips, like mixing with the salty and the sweet. And I do feel like that this profile fits those like pairings also. Like you combine it with like a saltier thing because it doesn't have that like really acidic taste to it.
Yeah, it balances off that bit of bite that might be in the chocolate.
So can we actually the shape of the chocolate actually really plays really well to how we enjoy it. Like it melted like really evenly. It didn't feel like you had to do a lot of work to like get it to melt either.
Yeah, the shape was an essential element of the entire effort for a couple of different reasons. One, there aren't a lot of bars being accepted. This is part of the crowded category of chocolate. The standard form factor is a bar. But if you think about that as a designed experience, the bar really isn't designed for us as consumers of the chocolate. It's designed for the chocolate manufacturers. It's an efficient, method to distribute distribute the chocolate to you in the bar form. But when it comes to consumption, then you've got your, opening up a package, breaking off pieces, kind of trying to reseal it, but not really resealing it, put it in somewhere. It doesn't have an individual kind of experience as well as a sharing kind of experience. So moving to that, the medallion, it gives something that you can give one and take one yourself. You can have them on the countertop and just grab one as you leave the house in the morning. It's got a wonderful form, and then just the feel in the hand and the feel of it breaking and the importance of that. So it's a really enjoyable experience to consume.
Yeah, definitely. And I know you guys just launched, like,
Yes.
what was it, a few months ago?
A month ago.
A month
just a
ago.
month out into the world.
Amazing. I'm very excited to see where you guys land. Do you have any recommendations of where people can find you?
Yes, firstchocolate.com is where we are now.
Okay.
We're using this time period to get to know our audiences. Anytime you invent something as new as this, you want to find out who this is for. We have theories, but you have to actually put it out in the marketplace and get people to react. As you mentioned earlier, we have those people out there that people that make dark chocolate a daily habit, those that are open to it, and enjoy dark chocolate, and know that those that maybe wouldn't ever think about it, but once introduced to this, might start exploring that. But who those people are and where they show up and all the other stuff, that's what we're learning over these 3 months of our launch. And then once that goes, we scale from there, once we figure that out. I think it definitely has an audience. There's people that are showing up and repurchasing, which is always a good sign, right?
Yeah, and the fact that it has such a low sugar profile, I think it really intrigues like that health conscious person that doesn't want to consume that sugar. So I know maybe your aim wasn't to tap into certain genres of health, but maybe I do see like a lot of those people being captured in that audience.
Yeah, there's a lot of people becoming very aware of sugar and how much sugar they take in and where they take in their sugars, and also carbohydrates. Simple carbohydrates are big as well. And so knowing about those things in your life, being aware of it and consuming less or being more deliberate about it. There's definitely a lot of people doing that. And it's growing. You get people that get introduced to it by keto and things like that, movements like that. But I think it's, generally speaking, it's a good movement to have happen because it's too easy to have too much sugar in your life.
Yeah, I think you're definitely with that wave where people are kind of moving away from just consuming just to consume and tapping into a more in touch audience. It's definitely where I think the market's going. Really excited to see all of that happen for you guys. Is it considered good for keto? That was one of the questions.
We refer to it as keto friendly. It's not keto certified, but the ingredients are pretty simple and straightforward, and you can see those on the packages, each individual packet, so you can see how low sugar it is. For sure.
Yeah, like especially compared to actual fruit, sometimes that has like a really high sugar content.
True, very true. Yeah, very true.
We're coming close to our end. Is there anything else you want to share with us about Verse and how we can?
I think this is great. Yeah, we can. I mean, we'd love to be introduced to more people that are considering this as a habit in life. The healthy movement and the very specific areas of healthy movements and lower sugar, knowing where your food comes from, considering the origin of things, all things very important to us and important to this brand. But we want to make sure people enjoy it, right? It has to taste amazing first, right? And
Mhm.
that's our responsibility to the consumer and to the farmer, to make sure that what we're delivering to the marketplace people can enjoy and can find and easily consume. So
Yeah, and I think the thought and consideration and intention behind your chocolate really pours through your product, and I think it's something definitely I think everyone should give a shot. But do you have a Instagram handle, LinkedIn? Where can people find you?
yes, verse_chocolate on Instagram and Twitter. I believe on Facebook as well. We're pretty easy to find. Obviously, versechocolate.com has all of those as well. It's a Shopify site for
Mhm.
now, but it's a good start to everything. There will be a lot of attention coming because we're noticing it very quickly as far as the social attention it's getting. So it'll show up more than likely, if you search for it for sure. And it's also verse chocolate on the top of your search in Google, which is always good, right?
Always. Perfect. Well, thank you so much, Aaron. I really enjoyed this conversation, and I absolutely love your chocolate. It's definitely one of my favorite dark chocolate now. But thank you again, and please let us know if there's anything we can help you with.
Well, wonderful, Kimberly. Thank you so very much, and thank you for the sound endorsement of our chocolate. Very grateful. It's wonderful to see this coming to life, and so many people getting excited about it. So thank you.
Thank you so much. Have a great day.